There is one pesky deal in Schedule 1 that if you do it at night, you are guaranteed to get chased by the police. So you just want to avoid that one. Unless you do this. Purchase and park a van right here by the barbershop, and it blocks the line of sight of the cops, allowing you to come here at any time of night you want. This trick can be used in other places as well, any place that you want to create a blind spot. What's up, guys? That's tip number 1 on today's list of 13 tips and tricks for Schedule 1 that will help you get from the start all the way to the end of the game. I've tried to sprinkle in some tips here and there in the list that you won't hear anywhere else. Many of these I figured out myself in over 100 hours of gameplay, so let's get to it. Tip number 2. The game tells you that to drag smaller amounts of an item from one slot to another, you can hold right mouse button and scroll the wheel up and down as you drag the item. But did you know there's a quicker way to move small amounts of an item? Say if you want to quickly sell 3 bags of a particular item to a customer, you can simply hold shift and tap right-click 3 times to quickly transfer the items. It's like the shift click, but instead of moving the whole stack, it only moves one item at a time. Once you get fast with this, you can complete deals even as the cops are spotting you and then quickly get away. Tip number 3. There's a couple of apps on your phone that the game never really mentions that are actually really handy. Contact Screen is really great for seeing which customers live in what parts of town. This is really handy, especially later on in the game, and you can use it to fine-tune your customers to only the areas that you travel. For instance, it can be a pain to deal with customers in the suburbs and in the west part of town at the same time of day, especially when you're in a hurry. So, by taking note of who is in what part of town, you can maybe keep the customers in a certain part of town assigned to the dealer there, and then they'll take care of them for you. Your dealers actually move around and do deal in real time though, so it's probably best to keep them, dealing in their own neighborhoods. I mostly stick to the starting areas of the game that I've gotten familiar with because I know the customers there, but that's not the only use of the contact screen. On the contact screen, you can see each of the customer's favorite effects. This comes in handy when trying to please customers, however, it's most handy when trying to get a particular customer in the first place with the free sample. It's a no-brainer at the start of the game, but later on, especially in the suburbs and uptown, you can get extremely low chances to impress people with your free samples. And using this little tip to see what they like can help you design a drug with the effects that they like, and that will improve your odds. Tip number 4. Storing shelves on shelves. I'm sure you knew that you could store items such as shelves in boxes on other shelves. Well, this tip is just that. Somewhere in each of your properties, have a shelf that's just filled with boxes of other shelves. A large shelf can hold 8 stacks of other shelves, so that's 80 shelves you can fit on this one rack of shelves. So that at any point, if you need some extra storage, you can pull them off and store some stuff. You can also always pack the shelves back up and then put them away again. This is most handy when you have a bunch of stuff coming in on a delivery, or when you're moving things around and need some extra shelves to store stuff on while you shift things around, or you're testing out a bunch of new recipes and you need some extra shelves to hold some test products. Tip number 5. This is one that pretty much everyone else is saying, but that's because it's so important. The gold skateboard is the best vehicle in the game. There is a difference between the skateboards, and the gold one is by far the best investment you will ever make in your entire playthrough. It is the fastest vehicle in the game by far and can go just about anywhere. Once you have practice with it, you'll find that you can even jump around corners with it. Cars will have their uses, and I'll get to that in another tip. But even at the very end game, I travel everywhere at all times of day on the skateboard. That said, if you do get caught in a cop chase in a particularly slow vehicle, just abandon it there and escape on your skateboard. You can always rely on your trusty gold skateboard. Tip number 6. The best car is the van. And I've already given you one great use for it in blocking the line of sight of the cops, over by the barbershop, but there's another. Purchase a van, and you can have multiple vehicles, by the way, and use it as a mobile stash house. Of course, you have your other properties and businesses where I'd recommend you always keep some shelves. It never hurts to slap some extra storage in the laundromat or the taco tickler in case you're carrying too much and you don't want to run all the way home, but you can also use a car for that. The van is the best because it holds 16 inventory slots, the same as a delivery van. And of course, unlike your properties and businesses, it's mobile. So you can have vehicles parked at multiple points of the map, or you might want some kind of storage. Parking the van next to the barbershop, as I mentioned in the first tip, is an incredibly handy spot, as it's right near 2 of your dealers, for one, and it's fairly central depending on where you mainly choose to deal. Later on in the game, you will find that you have more money than you will ever need, easily bringing in over $30K a day, and so buying a couple of cars and parking them here or there isn't even an issue. Tip number 7. Keep a section of 16 shelves in the mixing area of your main property. If you like mixing products for different results as I do, then you know it's always handy to have the ingredients you need without having to run to the gas mart. Well, there are 16 ingredient mixers in the game. So what you can do that's really handy is to build an efficient block of 16 shelves, one for each ingredient near where you'll need them for mixing. As long as you keep a strict rule of only one ingredient on a particular shelf and don't mix them, you'll always have an organized pantry of mixer ingredients. I have shelves elsewhere for more convenient grabbing of them and other shelves for overflow, but I always keep this pantry of 16 shelves as the main ingredient storage. Tip number 8. Doing basic mixes for a decent profit. You can make your product as fancy or as plain as you want. In your playthrough, you will make more money than you need and realize that after a while making some of the most expensive product is just time-consuming and just so repetitive. Making high volumes of complicated mixes will mean ordering multiple deliveries each day, and while maybe that's fun for you, you don't have to do all that. Simple products work just fine, and really you'll make the same money in the end. Your customers will buy more of a cheaper product and less of a higher price one. So you may just find it more enjoyable to crank out a product you enjoy, sell more of it, and the money will even out. If you just want good easy money, use my suggested recipe of Addy or Semen Addy Viagra for an easy, high-value 4-step mix. You can add iodine to that to make it 5 steps, and that, in my findings, is the highest profit 4 and 5-step mix you'll find. Or kind of what I've gone more toward is just making a fun product that I invented, maybe with an effect that you find funny, or with a particular, a product with a particular color that you like. You'll make more money than you need anyway, and if the product is cheaper, then they'll just buy more of it and it'll even out. However, there is one thing I should be clear on this about. Your customers will always buy at least one of your product each day. So the cheaper it is, the more of it they'll buy. But they will always buy at least one. So I guess if you really wanted to min-max and come up with some insane 8 or more step product mix that sells for several $100s, and that's the only product you have listed, then they'll still be forced to buy at least one of those. So say a particular customer only wants to spend like $500. Well, if the product you're selling, goes for like over 800, then they'll be forced to buy it anyway because they always had to buy at least something. I mean, I just thought I'd put that there, but I just stick to the shorter, fun mixes. Ordering truck after truck of supplies and running 8 mixers simultaneously gets old after a while. Selling even just weed in the end game is totally viable. So just mix and sell how you want, and basic mixes will make you plenty of profit. Tip number 9, the 4 a.m. strategy. You'll make the most money from your deals if you schedule them at late night. First of all, there's a flat 20% bonus for selling at night after curfew. At first, it seems dangerous, but once you learn how easy the cops are to avoid, it's a piece of cake. There's always 2 cops standing right outside the taco ticklers, pointing their flashlights at the barbershop. Learn to go around them by taking various routes, and you'll never really have any other issues. Besides the 20% bonus, you'll also just have more time. There's a lot of things that you may want to do that are best done during the day, or that you may have to do during the day. You can schedule your deals for any time later in the day that you want, so I say just do what you want during the day. Schedule your deals for late at night, and take your time doing them at night, and rake in that sweet 20% bonus for each deal. Tip number 10. Meth is good. In the game, that is. You can make profits selling any of the 3 drugs, and any of them is viable to base your business upon, which I really like. But the meth does come with one distinct advantage. It's completely synthetic, and you don't have to grow anything for it. Yeah, you have to wait for the chemistry station and then wait for the oven, but the meth is the only drug that you can spend all night stocking up on if you need more inventory without waiting on things to grow. Because when the time stops at 4 a.m., your plants will stop growing, but your ovens and chemistry stations will still work on the same timer. You can still order more deliveries of product, so if you need more inventory and want to stock up, just put on some Netflix, chill, and cook all night and stack that supply up. It's also a great drug for testing new recipes for the same reason. You can just keep making more. Tip number 11. Upsell at night. Each customer will buy from you once a day and only once a day, except for Cranky Frank. If you stay up late enough, you will see him put in multiple orders, even at 4 a.m. But except for him, yeah, they'll each only order once a day. But you can sell them more. You can offer your customers drugs, like every few minutes. I found this out by testing recipes at the barn, and every new mix I'd come up with, I'd run down to the Central Gas Mart and give it to Javier to test the effects. I'd sell that guy several times a night. So if you're wanting to test a new product, or sell some old supply, or just sell more in general, you can roam around town at night, banging on doors and selling them product. They're all tweakers, and it's not like they're sleeping anyway. By the time you make your rounds in even one or two of the neighborhoods, you can go back and sell to the first ones again. You can do this as much as you want. I do this primarily after I've been trying out some new recipes and I end up with like 20 or 30 singles that just take too much space to store, so I just go around and peddle them one or two at a time. Always try to push more than one if you can. Tip number 12. Time only stops for plants and employees. As I'm sure you know, at 4 a.m., time will stop, giving you unlimited time to do whatever you want. As I've mentioned in previous tips, this is best used for doing all of your deals of the day, as now you're no longer rushed to complete them because the time stops and doesn't let them expire. I also mentioned that this time of night is great for creating synthetic products that don't require grow time, because the only thing that stops is plant growth and your employees. Right, there's one more thing besides the ovens that keeps on ticking, and that's your money laundering. If you're finding yourself with an excess of money that you can't launder fast enough, or just need to launder more to afford that next property, know that the money laundering timer keeps running even when time stops at 4 a.m. So if you're pulling an all-nighter, stocking up on meth, make sure to hit all your businesses and get them running. They'll run even while time is stopped and pay you out, allowing you to trigger them again and again if you want. They run on a 24-hour timer, which is 24 minutes in real time, so every 24 minutes you can go and re-trigger your businesses again. This and many other tips now converge on our last tip for the day, tip number 13. Supply your dealers in bricks. Your dealers require that you provide them with a packaged product. Well, of course, bricks count as packaged product, can hold more product per stack, and are faster to package. You can resupply your dealers maybe once a week or so with this method. First, always be making meth and stockpiling it in bricks. I make several batches a day and just brick it up and put it aside. I say meth because, again, you can just crank it out all night if you need to. Once you get a stack or so of the bricks, you can stay up all night one night, running your money laundering, pulling the bricks apart, mixing them, re-bricking them, and handing them out. That keeps them good, and because it's the most compact way to store a product, it leaves them with more inventory slots to put other stuff in that you may be trying to get rid of. There's a lot more tips I could bring you, and we may do more in a future video. But for now, know that you could easily make enough money to have fun with whatever product you want to do, however you want to do it, and that's what this game is all about. So always be running your business the way you want to, and I hope these tips helped you out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give the video a like. If any of these tips helped you out, be sure to subscribe and follow along for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.